Okay, today we're playing a game on King's Row. The average SR of this game was 2,526, and we will be playing Roadhog the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Roadhog, Widowmaker, Genji, Mercy, and Zenyatta. It's pretty standard for your first attack on King's Row, honestly. Widowmaker's very popular, Genji's very popular. Is it what I would consider to be ideal? Well, no. Because the Widowmaker usually doesn't really get very much done anyway, even though this is like the easiest place to play Widowmaker. Because, unfortunately, the enemy team will also probably have a Reinhardt and or an Orisa, so even though you have the church to stand in, it's hard to actually, like, get a kill on somebody unless they fuck up. But, I mean, that's the great equalizer. The enemy team can always fuck up. Now, in the accompanying email, it says it has two questions, and I'll abridge them both for you. The first question is, if our Reinhardt's bad, should I snipe the Reinhardt off of them between rounds? And I will tell you now, I have sniped Reinhardt off of people a great many times, because we played with them the first round, and I've been like, wow, that Reinhardt's actually awful. And then I've just been like, and now I'm playing Reinhardt for the next round. And I play with my friend quite frequently, and then she'll be like, take it from him. And I'll be like, I know, I was already going to. So, to answer your question, yeah. If you think the Reinhardt is, like, really bad, take it off him. Because Reinhardt's one of those things where it's, like, really detrimental to have a bad Reinhardt, because the bad Reinhardt can, like, very easily bait his own team into throwing. Because you stand with the Reinhardt, because that's what you're meant to do. But then the Reinhardt goes, I'm leaving now, and then the enemy Reinhardt goes, sick, and earth shatters your entire team. It's very easy for the bad Reinhardt to throw for the entire team. I mean, that's the kind of thing with Overwatch in general, though, is it's very hard to solo carry, but it's very easy to solo throw. But Reinhardt in particular. So, by all means, if you think the Reinhardt is that bad, take it off of him. People might not agree with that one, but I got no time. I got no time for them bad people. Let him be bad on a hero that has, like, less negative impact for him being bad. The other question is, assuming we have two players who are equally skilled at main tank and off tank, but one player is better than the other player, should the better player play the off tank or the main tank? I don't think it matters, really. Like, because I don't think the main tank or the off tank generally, like, has that much more impact than the other one. I mean, they can, but, like, if we operate under the assumption that both players are, like, decent still, but one of them's, like, more decent, I don't think it matters particularly whether they're the off tank or the main tank. It might be better on average for them to be the off tank, because the off tanks are the heroes that can have more individual impact generally, because, like, a Roadhog who's really good has, like, a very big impact, and Azaria, who is very good, will have a very big impact, so it might be better on average for them to be the off-tank, but I don't think that there's that much difference between main tank and off-tank for it to really matter one way or the other, whether the better player is playing main or off-tank. I think, like, it would, for it to really matter, it would have to get more granular than that, I think, where it would have to be, like, a certain main tank, like, a Reinhardt is better for our composition, but one player isn't very good at Reinhardt, and the other player is better at Reinhardt, right? I think it has to get, like, more specific hero-wise for it to actually matter. I think just main tank, off tank doesn't really matter that much. And those are basically the questions from the email. So, let's start the game. So we are attacking first. Oh, we've just spotted the trap right there. Reinhardt did not spot the trap, or maybe he did, and he just decided he was going to try and give the healers more charge. I guess. Doesn't really matter. Junkrat's going... No, that's not Junkrat. That's Genji, right? Like, why did I think that was Junkrat? Yeah, that's Genji. Genji's going fucking in. For some reason, I thought that was Junkrat, and I was like, man, Junkrat's fucking going in right now. No, it's Genji, so it's not that unusual. So indeed, our Widowmaker's probably going to have a hard time killing people over there, because they're gathering up behind an Orisa shield. It's okay, Orisa was like, what's she thinking? Like, she knows that there's a Widowmaker on our team, and she's got the biggest, juiciest melon of a head in the entire roster, and she's just standing out in the middle of the courtyard. You're not allowed to do that. She just gets killed by the Widowmaker. So you might have guessed from the first question in the email that our Reinhardt's not going to be that good at the video game to prompt that kind of question. And, I don't think he was, like, he wasn't good, but I don't think he was, like, overwhelmingly awful or anything. Like, I've seen way worse. But, I mean, I've played a lot of this video game. I've basically seen the absolute worst of humanity at this point. Because Overwatch in general is a cesspool, but, like, there is, like, the part of the cesspool that's even worse, and I've seen it at this point. And I've just also realized that we, like, Orissa's gonna have a bad time if she just stands out in front of the, Widowmaker while we've got a Zenyatta as well. Orissa's just gonna get, like, one shot. So, unfortunately, our hook was not up right there to try and hook the Mercy right there, because, ooh, that's a good one right there. We missed the hook, very sad. There's a Tracer behind us right now. She's dead. Very surprisingly, honestly, like, that's the kind of kill you get on the Tracer where you're like, oh, good job, me. So, we're a little upset that Reinhardt's going that far off right now. Honestly, it's, like, kind of hard for their team to punish him that quickly, because they just don't, like, have anything that kills a Reinhardt that quickly, you know. We've hooked the Tracer, didn't manage to kill the Tracer, unfortunate. She's a very thin model, so it's not that unusual, honestly. So we're just gonna use Whole Hog right now. We've basically captured the checkpoint, but, like, the Rudy Tooty Whiz Bang Shooty is an ultimate that, like, you don't really have to cherish. You might as well just use it to make sure you get control of the checkpoint. Might not have needed it, but it's the kind of ultimate that's like, I'll use it just to make sure I get it. So a lot of our team are dead right now, so basically we want to be trying to get out. And we're saying, you know, we want to back out so our team can regroup. Reinhardt charged forward, just to get back quicker, honestly, and got stuck by Tracer, and is therefore punished. Now, what I will say is that we've got a bit of a dirty rat on our team, right? Because I just want you to notice, right, that, like, oh, platinum, 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 platinum. Hold on a moment. Something doesn't quite line up right here. I've seen worse. Especially for a silver Reinhardt, I've seen worse. But I've seen some really bad people. So, anyway. Our team's regrouping now. We're pushing back out. Our Genji has changed to Pharah, which is a bit of a perplexing decision, honestly, for this checkpoint, because Pharah is quite bad at this checkpoint. But whatever, it's what they've chosen to do. We're trying to be a bit sneaky and poke out the side and hook somebody. It's not really flanking, because, I mean, I wouldn't class going through that door as flanking, and didn't quite manage to get anything done, unfortunately. Now, they've put the bongo down. We can actually break the bongo from this position, so easy money. Widow has broken the tire. Like, Widow's actually broken both of Junkrat's tires, so actually I think he's done it 3 times. She's broken a lot of Junkrat's tires. He's very upset about that one. Now, there is a Tracer behind us somewhere, killing a lot of our men. Because we can see Tracer has killed Pharah, which is a little bit, you know, odd that happened, but, you know, it happened, and then Tracer killed Widowmaker. Not what I'm trying to say, which is the exact opposite. So, we know there's a Tracer on the enemy team, we've seen her a few times right now, and, like, we're the only person on our team that does like, counter Tracer. Nobody, like, quite counters Tracer, but Roadhog's one of the better choices. So we do have to be, like, keeping an eye out for Tracer, because it's, like, our obligation to try and deal with her. Roadhog's by no means, like, fantastic at dealing with Tracer, but Tracer is, like, the only hero in the game that doesn't have, like, an illegitimate hard counter. Because all of her counters are actually skill-based matchups, right? Like, if the Tracer dodges the McCree doesn't kill the Tracer, probably, right? Like, if she dodges the hook, the Roadhog doesn't kill Tracer. Like, Winston can zone Tracer, but, that's about it. Like, Tracer is one of, like, the only hero in the game, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't have, like, a hard counter. whereas everybody else has at least one. So, Widowmaker has actually killed Tracer and Junkrat, so, you know, they're a little bit upset right now. We didn't actually hook her off the edge, but she walked off the edge, so that's very convenient. She would have been dead regardless of walking off the edge, but, I mean, it's just funnier that she walked off the edge. Didn't quite hit the Mercy, you know, aim better, blah, 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 blah. That's, like, the thing that stands out the most in this. Again, we're like, oh, sick, good job, me, you know? The thing that does stand out the most in this game is, like, aim better stuff, really. Like, we missed some hooks that are very unfortunate to have missed. But aim better isn't very helpful advice, so we don't really talk about it. But that is, like, the thing that stands out the most. So we're gonna bully this soldier right now. I think he was using Tac Visor. Either way, he's sad. Tracer's killed herself on Zenyatta, and then Zenyatta got rezzed by Mercy right afterwards. So the Tracer was probably like, worth it? Fuck. Because that's what I would have been like. So, I didn't think, like, honestly, the way the Reinhardt played in that game would not have upset me enough to, like, snipe it off of him between rounds, but by all means, like, if you think a Reinhardt is, like, really bad, snipe that Reinhardt off of him. Like, he's, like, Reinhardt's just one of those heroes where, like, if you think that he is an actively detrimental member of your team, he'll make the rest of your team be detrimental as well, because they'll be grouped up with him, and then they'll be like, there he goes. And then you get killed, and it feels bad. So our team is largely the same, except we have a Reaper now. Now, we have Widowmaker. Widowmaker seems to at least be decent at the video game, so if there's a Pharah, we won't be upset about it. As we can see, Pharah is in fact dead right now.
How did I miss that?
We missed the Roadhog right there. Very sad. Big beefy boy, or big porky boy, I suppose, and we still didn't hit him. It is, like, largely aim better stuff that stands out the most in this game. We managed to slip away because Take a Breather is really good. You know, really hard to kill the Roadhog. Most of their team was not actually there at the time, because they'd kind of all gotten killed by Widowmaker. Widowmaker probably got play of the game off that, actually, because she killed, like, 2 people and then got a headshot kill on the 3rd person. So they're starting to make some forward progress right now. Our Reinhardt isn't nowhere to be seen. I'm assuming he's dead right now. But I don't actually know, like, what happened to him. It's irrelevant. We're going to use our ultimate right now and push D.Va away. Their Roadhog's using his ultimate. It's alright. Ours was going better. We've got Valkyrie. Their Roadhog, he's just used his Take a Breather, and our hook is currently on cooldown, so we're honestly, like, better off trying to kill him than we are trying to kill Baby D.Va. Baby D.Va's really hard to kill as Roadhog if you don't have your hook, so honestly we're better off trying to kill the Roadhog, just because it's, like, really hard to hit her. But it is not hard to hit Roadhog. Even if you get, like, the way the spread on Roadhog's gun works, it's just, like, it's really hard to kill Baby D.Va if you don't hook her. You know, I thought about this the other day, right? Like, there's a thing about, I'm just thinking about, like, the spread of weapons. There's a thing with Doomfist that I think is, like, really, like, no one really talks about, but it is, like, actually very bad that it functions this way. The spread on his gun is entirely random, right? Like, sometimes it basically comes out as, like, one straight bullet, where just, like, all of it is, like, all the pellets are, like, right on top of each other, and then sometimes it's just, like, there's just, like, this giant crater in the center of it, and it all just spreads out sideways. Like, his weapon is really inconsistent. And I think that is something that is, quietly very bad about Doomfist. Not that Doomfist needs anything, and, like, there's a lot of things that are bad about Doomfist, but I think his left click is, like, quietly very terrible, but nobody really talks about that aspect of Doomfist. Is like, his spread is actually entirely random. Well, isn't a shotgun spread entirely random generally? Well, yes, Straw Man. The problem is, though, that, like, Doomfist is immensely random. Like, Roadhogs and Reapers are pretty consistent, you know, like, and they shoot more pellets, so, like, and they have they're usually just, like, right up on the dude. Doomfist is probably, like, using his gun from some distance away, and then just suddenly, like, all the bullets, like, curve around the person that you're shooting at. It's very bad. Doomfist's very bad, though, so, shocking opinion, you know, stop the fucking presses. Doomfist isn't a very good hero. I know, unbelievable. It's very refreshing. We've been hooked. It's, you know, we're not actually gonna die, though, because, like, even though Roadhog hooked us, like, there's not enough things on their team to kill us quickly, so we're gonna get away with it. It's very refreshing that Moira came out, and I actually think that she is, like, perfectly well-balanced, because what other hero has that happened with so far, right? Like, Anna came out, and everybody thought Anna was terrible. She was actually very good. Then they buffed her a little bit, and she was overpowered, and then they nerfed her, and now, look what happened there. Sombra came out, and Sombra, I think, was always fine, but she got some buffs as well. She's, like, very strong, but very hard to play. Then Orisa comes out, and she's just kind of meh. And, that was the prevailing opinion on Orisa up until very recently, you know. Strangely enough, not many people really liked Orisa that much, but then, Overwatch League happened, and then suddenly people were very fond of Orisa. How suspicious. Anyway, and, Doomfist comes out, he's overpowered, then they change his hitbox a little bit, now he's actually worthless. It's nice that a hero came out and she was just, like, fine, right? Like, not overwhelmingly powerful, not overwhelmingly weak, just fine. It's very refreshing change of pace for Overwatch, honestly. It's alright, they'll find a way to fuck it up, though. They always do. So, get fucked, Genji. Using his Dragon Blade, gets fucked. Sad day for him. Did we reload early? No, we had to reload right there. Unfortunate. Couldn't stop her using her, Resurrect. The way that the fight's going, like, probably doesn't matter if we actually stop her Resurrect or not, because, like, basically we're the only one alive at this point. I mean, obviously, stopping her Resurrect would be a lot better, but I don't think it really mattered. Mostly a very unlucky time to have to reload. It's okay. Like, we captured everything. We had 3 minutes, 15 seconds to spare. We're not sweating it too much if we lose the first checkpoint, because we've still got the entire second and third checkpoint. Not that you expect to defend the second checkpoint on King's Road that often. Sometimes it happens. More than Nimbani. But the third checkpoint is actually very hard to capture, so, you know, we're not sweating it too much if we lose this checkpoint, because they're almost in overtime right now anyway. So now we see that they have a Winston as well. You know, we still have to try and deal with the flankers because we're playing Roadhog and we have the obligation to try and deal with flankers. But now we also have to try and deal with the Winston as well. Now, the Reinhardt right there, I do believe, probably just performed a quite illegal maneuver, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he got hooked. Is that much better than him charging out of the gate? No, not really, but at least he didn't necessarily have that much control over getting hooked. Now, we're trying to kill Winston right now. He's gonna have Primal Rage at this point. There's a game you play with Winston when you have hard crowd control on your hero. There's a game you play where you're like, how low do I think I can get Winston before he's gonna use Primal Rage? Which is usually they're usually going to use it at, like, 30-ish% health, right? So when you see the Winston get to, like, half health, as he is right now, if you're playing someone like Roadhog, that's the time you hook him, because people will be helping you kill him, and it's really easy to get, like, a full suite of headshots on Winston because he's got a big ol' head hitbox, so if you're playing Roadhog, there is a game you kind of have to play with Winston where you're like, oh, I'm going to try and crowd control you so that you don't get an opportunity to use Primal Rage. I mean, it's not always going to work out. Nothing does always work out, though. Life's kind of that way, but sometimes you stop the Winston from using Primal Rage, and sometimes that's the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight. Is it the difference in this fight? No. Very much not, but sometimes it is the difference, so it is something to think about. Especially, like, you know, Platinum. It's usually the area where there are less overwhelmingly huge mistakes, and smaller stuff starts to matter at that point. And then, obviously, as you get higher, it matters more and more. Because, eventually people stop being, like, terrible. Not on your team, don't get me wrong. Your team never gets good. The enemy team gets better, though. It's just a part of life.
Guys in the window,
So, they've got 2 minutes to capture this because they captured it in overtime, so, you know, we're not overly concerned about it. That's, like, upsetting, but that happened, but we did stop it from going all the way behind us, so might have saved somebody's life. Either way, the fight's not exactly going well. We don't really want to be fighting that far up on King's Row. Fighting under that archway is quite difficult because of where their spawn is, basically. Usually we want to kind of let it get more to a little bit closer to the bar, or like the bookstore, since fighting in the archway is rather difficult for the defending team. Not that we usually expect to defend this checkpoint. Usually if you defend this checkpoint, what happens is, like, you stall it out in this area, because then the attacker's spawn advantage is completely negated, because they have to walk a very long way to actually get back to the payload. And the trick is actually being in a position where you can stall it out here, because what tends to happen is fight breaks out outside the bar or the bookstore, team staggers themselves a bunch of times, and they just kind of push it through this last part for free. That's usually what happens on King's Row, which is why it is difficult to defend this checkpoint. Same issue with King Numbani, is that, like, theoretically the same thing could happen on Numbani. That map is, the geography doesn't work out as well as it does on King's Row. But theoretically the same thing could happen on that map. The problem is that people usually get killed, like, near the bend at the bus, so then, like, they don't have very far to push it to the end of the track, so, like, you're getting back as they're capturing it. The spawns on these maps are very bad, basically. Not as bad as, like, a 2CP map, which obviously are all terrible. The best one being Volskaya Industries, but even that one is bad. I have gotten to play on Disney World, and Disney World seems like it's going to be awful. The second checkpoint on that map looks like a fucking nightmare for all parties involved. Now, granted, it's not even competitive yet, so I haven't really seen people trying that hard on the map yet, but just like looking at the geography of it, the first checkpoint looks like it's probably going to be a nightmare for the attacking team, because I'm just looking at, like, the gate coming into Disney World, and that looks like a fucking nightmare to try and get through. There's ways to get around, but I have a feeling that that's going to be hard for the attackers to capture. And then the second checkpoint seems like hell for all parties involved, because it's just kind of a very flat surface with, like, there's some high ground with just, like, some paths around the side. It just seems like a nightmare for all parties involved. And then the third checkpoint I've barely seen, because usually the defending team is too tilted and they just kind of get rolled over by that point. It feels bad to be Road Soldier. We've done a good job of, like, fucking people's ultimates up this game, because we've fucked up the Genji's ultimate earlier, we fucked up the ultimate right there. I believe we fucked his ultimate earlier as well when we used Whole Hog on attack. Roadhog is that way, he's good at fucking up ultimates. We didn't need to use Whole Hog there, which I imagine was probably fairly obvious, seeing as not very much happened with it. Yeah, not much was going on, rather unnecessary. At the same time, though, Roadhog's ultimate is one of those where you're not overly concerned if you accidentally waste it, because it's not massively impactful. So they don't have enough time to get to the objective at this point, unless somebody's been going on a stealth mission around the side. They're not getting there in time. Easy money. So, who got the play of the game? Widow could have gotten it? No, it's Junkrat. When did Junkrat, like, get a big play? I guess we're gonna find out. Wow. Oh, it's right here. Okay, I guess, yeah.
Amazing.
He only killed one person with a tire, though. Oh, he kills her in Valkyrie. I see. So, thing that stands out the most in this game. Wow, Widowmaker got scoped critical hits. How about that? What a day. What a day. So the thing that stands out the most in this game is mostly mechanical stuff, honestly, which isn't very helpful to comment on, but, like, missed a lot of hooks that we probably shouldn't have missed. Blah, 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 blah. We, like, use our ult kind of frivolously in a few situations, but the bigger thing is, like, mechanical stuff, which is I can't really help you with. That's just kind of gotta grind it out stuff, you know? So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know and I'll try to expand further, and I hope you found the video helpful.